A Prophet of Thought series, exclusive.
Open your minds. This is X from the Prophet of Thought series, also known as the Frontistery. Don't know the definition of a Frontistery? I'll give it to you at the end of the segment. But first things first. On December 17th, 2015, which happens to be my birthday, I had an author on the Prophet of Thought series radio show who's claiming on Twitter that she was ambushed on the air by Black Nationalists. This author, Miss Sarah Ratliff, had been a guest on my show back in October, basically to promote her book, Being Biracial, Where Our Secret Worlds Collide, that she co-authored. And she was on there and she discussed being biracial and circumnavigating, your way through the world as a biracial person. That was the topic of that particular show in October. We had Miss Ratliff back on our show December 17th, like I said, which brings me to this allegation of being ambushed, as she claims. First, if she considers what happened that night on the radio an ambush, she must have forgotten that her and I had communicated prior to the show that I had told her it would be an open forum and my birthday show. She must have also forgot that it wasn't my team that started talking about race. It was herself and Mrs. Shannon Luthers Manuel, another author who writes about being biracial. It was them who brought up race. But once the conversation began, it did become a conversation about who's black and who's not. But first, let me fact check this. Note this. Mrs. Manuel's ethnicity was never called into question. However, Miss Ratliff's was by my co-host, Lady Selfmade, and our New York correspondent, Teacher Tanisha. And by looking at their photos, you can understand why. It was seen that authors who write about being biracial would expect to be challenged, no matter what race they were claiming at the time. But this night, they were claiming black, and accordingly, they were challenged by the two black women from the Prophet of Thought series team, challenged in a way that made them run for cover from the black women, like insulted, scared, privileged white girls. Maybe we should ask them what race were they really that night. Seems like to me, even though they were claiming black, they expected to be privy to a white level of privilege. How dare someone say I'm not black or I'm not white? This is an outrage. What makes you guys an authority on who can determine who's black? Well, maybe the Prophet of Thought series can't determine who's black, madam. But any black person can determine who's not, rather easily. And you know who's not? Any person who has benefited from white supremacy or white privilege definitely is not black, because not one black person can say that they have ever benefited from those things, something you clearly stated that you have benefited from on many occasions. You know who else isn't black? A person who claims to be black whenever it's convenient and shapeshifts into a white person when black is not fashionable enough, because black people, we don't have that particular option. That particular night wasn't even supposed to be about race. I'll say it again. It was my birthday show, open forum night. It was supposed to be about whatever people wanted to opine about. And that's what they did. You opined about racial makeup. So the women from the Prophet of Thought series media group opined about yours. Case closed. So to blog and use Twitter to garner some kind of digital sympathy is beneath everyone involved. And as far as my show focusing on race, no. We focus on the things that concern a race. The black race. You know that race where people don't have the luxury of claiming it out of convenience. The members of this team always know that they are black because we are reminded of it every single day. And you're right. Black isn't just a color. It's a mind state. It's a culture. Black is a thing made of many different elements, but what it is not is a suit you can put on when it feels right, madam. I'm proud of the Prophet of Thought series females. They do come out swinging. I suggest that when you want to debate black women about blackness, you come out swinging too. Or you can continue to pretend that on most days we are not defined by others, especially when it comes to skin color. Yeah, right. Just ask Miss Manuel if she can claim white to anybody with two working eyes, maybe at 30 yards away while squinting. And the same can be said about you being black. If black people want to claim you, they will. But they at least expect you to look and appear black. Because for us, no matter what we identify with on the inside, America lets us know we are black on the outside, that we are the other race. But you would know about this, would you? Being biracial. And as for being a black nationalist, I've interviewed black nationalists on my radio show, Pan-Africans. I've even interviewed Sister Scheherazade Ali. The way you women turned tails and hauled ass off the air that night, just from what my team was coming at you with, you wouldn't have lasted 2 minutes with a true black nationalist. However, we take it as a compliment, not a complaint, an asset, not a liability. If I wanted to ambush Miss Ratliff and Miss Manuel, I would have had bomb throwers laying in wait, not jewel droppers. But anybody who wants to know what was said on both shows can check the archives of the radio station. Decide for yourself. We do this for one reason, to get people to open their minds. We don't expect people to think like us. We just expect you to think, period. You have something to say about me or my team, say it. Don't hide behind social media and the blogosphere. You know where to find us. Just remember, the Proper Thought series is a frontistery. Definition, a place for thinking. So think about what color you want to be that day, being that you have that option. Must be nice. We wouldn't know. I assume the only way one could know is if they had a life full of being in between, being conflicted, being vacillated between the races, being biracial. Proper Thought series. Open your minds.
Open your mind.
The Prophet of Thought series. Open your